Not good enough. Wasted potential. Disappointing. All things I've heard my parents say behind closed doors. Yet, oddly applicable to how I feel about the ODST Warbond. This video isn't just about the ODST Warbond, it's an open letter to Arrowhead about what I want to see in any crossover content in the future, but of course through the lens of the ODST Warbond. I normally do these videos with a script, but all I've got in front of me here are bullet points. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, this came out a month ago, why did you wait so long? Well, there's a perfectly boring reason for that, which I'll explain at the end. But not until I've talked about what Arrowhead did right with this crossover, what I think they could have done better, and what they didn't do wrong, because there was actually a lot of room to get things really wrong with this. Right, so let's talk about what they didn't do wrong. Firstly, and most importantly, I think we all knew that the worst thing they could have done was include a Master Chief skin. We've seen this go terribly wrong with lots of other games like Call of Duty. Like, it leads down a slippery slope that leads to having things like Beavis and Butthead or Nicki Minaj skins, and it absolutely ruins a game. In Helldivers, you are not meant to be the main character, you are meant to be one of many, many Helldivers. It's built into the lore, it's built into the mechanics of the game. If you were to put in a key character that we all know like Master Chief, that would have ruined it. If not now, then down the road when other IPs are added. Other things, we can actually look to Call of Duty as an example. Other things that they could have done wrong was include voiceover. Say, for example, Sergeant Johnson. We saw this in Call of Duty games. They had things like Snoop Dogg as the game announcer.
Oh shit, the bomb has been planted.
And that's just not what we want. I can see why it might be tempting. It would be okay with Halo. In fact, I might like to hear Sergeant Johnson yelling,
"Dear humanity, we regret being alien bastards. We regret coming to Earth. And we most definitely regret the Corps just blew up our raggedy-ass fleet."
But it's a slippery slope that leads to breaking immersion with other crossovers in the future. I'm glad they didn't include Sergeant Johnson as a voiceover. The third opportunity they had to get things wrong was making something extremely overpowered. The obvious answer here is the Spartan armor. I remember from the Halo games, I never liked the way you were a complete bullet sponge, especially in multiplayer. It took way too many bullets to kill people. So I'm glad that the ODST armor is completely cosmetic. Okay, what did they get right? Well, they put in all the weapons we wanted. Iconic parts of Halo always were the assault rifle, the shotgun, not you. That's the wrong pistol, that's not even the one we want. But the models for both the weapons and the ODST armor look perfect. Cosmetically, they are very true to form and exactly what we wanted. Another thing I think they did right was the price point. Now, I totally understand why some people won't agree with me here. If you're one of those people, please say why in the comments. I think 1500 is a reasonable price point for a crossover Warbond. This isn't probably a significant amount of the money had to go to Microsoft or Bungie or Studio 141. I can't remember, but probably Arrowhead didn't get to keep all the money we paid for that. They probably had to pay a significant amount for the Halo IP, and I'm totally okay with paying a little bit more for Warbond if it involves a crossover IP. Okay, let me pull out my list of things they could have done better, because I think they left a whole lot on the table here. There's a lot they could have done, some of it quite easily, to make this Warbond so much better. And Arrowhead, if you're watching this, I want you to pay attention, because these are the sort of things you need to consider moving forward with other crossover IPs in the future. Okay, I'm going to start with the most important thing, and probably most people have noticed this. The shotgun and the assault rifle, they're disappointing. And not just because they're actually slightly underpowered or can't be customized. It's something else. Listen to this. That is not what a Halo shotgun sounds like. They sound like this. They always have sounded like this. So when I started using the assault rifle and shotgun in Helldivers, I was disappointed. It didn't feel right. Bear in mind as well, Helldivers is a third-person shooter, so most of the time you're not even looking at the model, which makes the assault rifle skin and the shotgun skin wasted. Here's what they should have done to make it good. That is a really, really easy and simple addition. I don't think they would have had to pay an exorbitant amount of money to copy the sound. I actually would have thought it wouldn't cost them any more. But the Warbond would be 1,000 times better if every time I used the assault rifle and shotgun, I got a waft of Halo nostalgia. You see, the model of the gun is good. If they'd added the sound, it would have been good. But together, with the model and the sound, they become something that's greater than the sum of their parts. And that's something I'm really disappointed in Arrowhead for not including. Other things they could have included was a plasma grenade. I think there was that would be very easy. It's an iconic weapon in Halo. In my opinion, the iconic grenade in Halo. And I don't think there's anything game-breaking about putting it in Helldivers. There's no support weapon or support Hellpod anything. Okay, now I was kind of thinking, what would you use? First thing that came to mind was the Spartan laser, but we already have a laser cannon. Leave the Spartan laser, okay? It would just be a reskin of something we already have. Here's what they should have done, okay? And this ties back to the same thing. The classic overshield. And it will come with the cool sound effects. How do you feel when you hear this? I don't know about you, but when I feel that, I feel this wave of 16-year-old nostalgia. Now I know that we already have shields. We've got a front-facing shield, a bubble shield, deployable Star Wars battle droid type shield, but a personal overshield, and to mix it up and make it not just a copy of a reskin of other shields that we have, to make it maybe also resistant to melee damage, but not quite as resistant to projectile damage. Another thing would have been easy to do, and I don't think game breaking, although let me know in the comments if you think it's not appropriate, but just one planet that's a Halo ring planet. Have a look, like it would look something like this. Doesn't need to be much lore around it, doesn't need to be a weapon designed to kill all sentient life in the galaxy, but it just would be really cool to fight on. Imagine you're standing on the ground fighting bugs, looking up in the sky, you see the whole ring, and the other side of the planet, on the inside of the ring, you see a little flash, a hell bomb going off. Imagine how cool it would be, because it's a ring planet, to see other warships upside down shooting at the surface on the other end of the ring. Now, I'm not good at Adobe After Effects or Photoshop, so here's the best ChatGPT could do, but I think it gives an idea of what that could be like. Right, another thing that I think could be cool, very doable, is customizable music for diving in, right? So, normally when you dive in, plays the iconic Helldivers tune. But imagine if you had a customization option near where you customize your armor and cape and everything else, where you could customize your drop-in music. And you could have Halo music. That's the end of the video. They're really just some off-the-cuff thoughts I had, unstructured. Sort of just my unfiltered stream of consciousness on the whole thing. But Arrowhead, if you're listening, I really think this is important. This is the kind of thing we want to see with future crossover IPs. I don't want just to see a skin of ODST armor. I want to get Halo vibes as I'm playing, okay? It needs to be immersive. It needs to remind me, give me a injection of Halo nostalgia. I want to feel like I did back when I was 16, carefree, sitting on the scratchy carpet of my mom's sitting room, playing Halo 3 multiplayer, okay? Just, it doesn't need to take away from the Helldivers universe, okay? Just remind me what that was like. That's what we want from these crossovers, at least what I want. Okay, I said I'd talk about why I waited a month to make this video. To be honest, I wasn't going to. I didn't think anyone would want to watch it. But then a video I uploaded recently did quite well, at least relative to how my videos normally do. And that actually inspired me, and maybe someone would want to see what I think of this, what my opinions are. And I want to say thanks to everyone who watched that video, especially all the people who subscribed. Starting a YouTube channel has actually been an awful lot harder than I thought it was going to be, and I was really losing faith. But when that video started to do okay, and I got over 100 subscribers from it, it really inspired me to keep going and keep fighting. So thank you so much to everyone who subscribed. Hey, thanks for watching to the end. You know, if you like this video, you might like some of my other videos, so consider hitting subscribe so they come up in your feed from now on. Here's a link to a video of mine that I think you might like. And then here's a link to a video of mine that the YouTube algorithm thinks you might like. And then over here I've left a link to another YouTuber altogether who I also think you might like. So feel free to check them out too. Thanks for watching to the end.